Welcome, fam, to our first episode of The Cynic and the Believer. This is your boy Thumper, aka the Believer of the duo, and my co-host and partner extraordinaire and magnificent water nymph. Should we go? Should we use your real name? We'll use your real name,
I think
Simone.
let's keep it incognito for now. Don't I get a player name? What was my player name?
Yeah, what did you?
Don't
Miss
people who go to Burning Man have player names? I never got a player
You have
name.
to yeah, somebody has to gift it to you, or you could I mean, I was
Oh,
going by
gift
Thumper
it to you.
before.
Oh,
Yeah, I was going it's like tarot cards. They have to get gifted to you to some, I think,
oh,
a little bit.
I see. Okay, I didn't
I
get
don't know.
gifted anything. No.
I didn't either. I just picked mine. I'm like, this is what it is. If you don't like it, and it's like tough for you. But people get like assigned names, which I think is a little bit it's a little bit too organized for that kind of like somebody you have to rely on somebody else to give you your identity.
It's just representative of the whole of Burning Man's pretentiousness, isn't it?
Yeah, and if you can't tell, my nymph of an amazing co-host is the cynic of the two of us, guys. She is the cynic, and we balance each other out. I think it's good to have a good perspective from two different angles on the same topics and kind of see things from two realities. If that makes sense, and that's what we want to do here. We want to give a grounded, real life dual view breakdown of just anything really, but right now it's going to be a lot of Burning Man content. It's going to be a lot of Burning Man because there's so much retardation on the playa that needs to be discussed. There's
Tell me, tell me, because you went last year, the year before on your own, and you had like spiritual experiences. So
so
and then
spiritual.
and then so spiritual, and then you dragged me along, and I'm like, what the fuck? So what happened? Did you see it differently, or did you just put up with me being such a cynical bitch?
No, I did see it differently. I did see it differently. Some of it, it was still a spiritual experience for me as well.
What? It was still
Yeah,
spiritual for you?
everything is spiritual, but Burning Man spirit. When a bunch of people get together and then they're trying to like do
Hard,
weird
too
shit,
hard,
yeah. What happened?
trying too hard.
Trying too
They're
hard.
trying
Yeah,
too
try.
hard. Yeah, yeah. They're trying.
It's like kind of like going to like like church, not church, but like it's some kind of like a gathering of people trying to find something to heal something inside them, and they just happen to do it with a lot of drugs and alcohol
Money
included, a
and
lot of
money.
drugs
Because
and
poor people
money.
don't go to Burning Man. Poor
Not
people
in,
can't go to Burning Man because it's too
not
expensive.
anymore. Yeah, poor
Well, yeah,
people.
so
Here's the
I don't know
thing.
if they
It's
like, they could go to the therapist down the road. They don't need to schlep all the way to Burning Man in an expensive
Yeah,
camper
but the
van and get
therapist is
dressed
not.
up and, huh?
I was just gonna say that is true, but the therapist is not gonna give you Molly or ketamine, so it's a little bit
You can
different,
have
you
Molly and
know?
ketamine in LA, can't you? You just like go down the road, have Molly and ketamine. I mean, why? The point really is all these pretentious motherfuckers schlepping out into the desert where not one single living thing exists to be all like schwa and dress up and take drugs and have a spiritual experience and burn shit in the temple is just so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. It's so like pretentious and oh my god, I'm healed. I like let it all go in the temple. It's the temple burned.
Did you, what would you say? Well, see, this is why I love like, I view it very differently. You're like, "Oh, fucking pretentious twats," and I'm like, "Oh, they're saying goodbye to their loved doggy or their,
Oh,
like,
yeah. They could
person
have
or
done that at
whatever."
home in the garden, you know what I mean? Would have
Why
been
did
so
you
much
spend
cheaper.
Why did you spend thousands of dollars to go into the desert and say goodbye to your puppy? You could have
Thousands and
done it in your
thousands and
backyard.
thousands and thousands. And just like anyway, yes. What were you gonna ask me? I
Well, I
didn't
was gonna
find
say,
too much me about the whole situation, but you know that already.
yeah.
I mean, the funnest thing to me was like jacking the carpet and stealing the watermelon almost. But
Yes. Yes. For those of you, that's actually a perfect segue. Stealing the watermelon. We were uh actually hold on. Let's start off with where we parked.
anyway,
We
you were
parked.
introducing how we got to this point about it being a spiritual experience for you and it being like an endurance marathon for me.
a little bit more to like, oh, I gotta figure shit out. Your survival
I
instincts
think you're
might
being a
kick
bit
in.
dramatic. I mean, there was nothing like there was a fucking ice dome and there was water everywhere and there was free beer, so no one was dying.
Yeah,
I mean, someone was
this
murdered, but
some
not because
somebody
yeah, but
did die.
someone was murdered, but
Somebody
not
did
by
die.
his own means. You know what I mean? Like it was hardly an environment that anyone could die. There was water everywhere. There was ice everywhere. There was tents and shade. There was Wi-Fi at the corner near the post office. There was free coffee. Like, I mean,
There's,
no one was going to die there unless
but
they
it
were
was
absolutely retarded. You know what I mean?
there was free coffee, but it was god awful coffee. That's
Well,
the
the,
thing. Like
the
that's
frozen coffee wasn't bad. It saved me on the first day when I was ready to like kill myself because I knew I had 7 more days to go.
you're like
When I discovered that coffee on that first day, it was like life, it was like redeeming. I was like, thank fuck. I'm going to look forward to this iced coffee every day so I can make it through these 7 days of
I,
hell with these pretentious rich
I,
people prancing around pretending to be poor.
yeah, until you found out until you saw the what they threw in the coffee.
Oh no! Oh
Yeah,
no!
it was all good. That coffee was very helpful until you saw the shit they were
How did
putting
I
it in. Then
block
you're
that
like,
out
"Oh
of
my
my
god, I'm poisoning
brain?
myself."
I blocked that out of my mind.
Yeah, because it was so traumatic.
Oh my God, I just suddenly saw a view through the back and it was like all this powdered cremora stuff, like the creamer and that instant
Yeah.
coffee. Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that coffee did not make my poops great, but it was very refreshing to have ice on the playa. I will
It
say that.
saved me. I could care less what
Yeah.
was in it. It really
So would you
saved
say
me.
that was a spiritual experience, the
No, it was
coffee
just
when it
iced
saved
coffee
you?
in a
Why
hot
not?
day. It wasn't spiritual. It was
Yes,
iced coffee on a
but
hot
that
day.
is spirit.
That's
See,
not spiritual.
I
Let's
would say
define
that is spiritual.
spiritual. Let's define spiritual. Let's define. I had a spiritual experience when there was a bear behind me while I was coming out of the toilet in the lake. A spiritual experience swimming in the cold lake in the rain. Those were spiritual experiences.
What about seeing that night sky that one night where it was like the most beautiful sky and you're like, "Oh, it's
I'd had a
spiritual."
lot of gummies that night just to survive. Just to
So
survive.
maybe there's something to take in some you have to be on some kind of a intoxicant then to
Totally.
experience. Okay,
Totally.
yeah, yeah.
You have to intoxicate yourself to have spiritual experiences, but to go swim in the lake in the rain, that was a spiritual experience, and there was no intoxication there. And um, the day it rained and all the stupid rich fuckers went into their tents and hid because it was raining and they may melt and they would like ruin their
Oh,
Dolce and Gabbana shoes. That day was great. That was great because everyone was like, "Oh
no.
my God, my outfit! Oh my God, my tent! Oh my God, my hair!" And you and I were out there like feral creatures, like walking around in the mud. It was great. That was the best day.
Yeah, I feel like that was my favorite day. The heavy rain day was the most
And then we
fun.
went to the church. We found the holy house in the middle of the playa in the rain. That was a beautiful day. If every day could have poured with rain and all those pretentious fuckers stayed in their tents and we could have wandered around in the rain. Epic.
I like that day. That was the one thing I did is I remember leaving that little church and we were like, "Hey, let's go to the man and then go back, maybe there's more cover there." And we were leaving. I heard somebody from from that little church bungalow go, "Oh my god, are they really doing that?" Like like I heard a like they're
Was that the collection of Ukrainians who were like in those
yeah,
like
like,
puffy boots in the corner,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Not,
yeah.
not
When I was
sort of, yeah.
Yeah, so it was raining kind of like not too heavy, like light, moderate kind of thing, and
No,
I
it was before
couldn't.
the heavy rain. The heavy
It
rain
was
was
before
only
the heavy
when we
on the way
got to the
back,
man, and then we had to, yeah,
and
yeah.
then it's yeah, yeah. So it was like light raining, and I'm like, I gave up on my boots already. Everything was turning to mud, and I'm just like, I just wanted to walk in my feet, like I mean, in my bare with my bare feet. I didn't want to have shoes on. And honestly, best decision of the day. It was great. I just got all. I remember taking off my shoes, and that's when they were like, "Oh my god, are they really doing?" Like, he's like, "What is he doing? He's gonna walk barefoot on wet sand? Like, what is like? Yeah, like I feel like a lot of people forgot how to like are overcomplicating life to the point where they're surprised by like just common sense basic stuff like walking barefoot in mud in the rain when it doesn't matter. And that was a spiritual experience for me. That mud
But
walk was a
that
very
was like
spiritual
borderline
experience.
spiritual experience, no doubt. But I think Burning Man probably before was more earthy and authentic, like people wandering around in the rain or the wind and just having moments like out in nature. Well, it's not even nature, out in this like extreme environment. But it's not that now. It's now just like this sterilized, pretentious, staged experience. And I'm open to all
Um,
spiritual experiences. My whole life has been a spiritual experience. But
there you go.
I found that to be quite I didn't think it was going I mean, I always thought it was going to be a bit like Burning Man, but I really didn't think it was going to be to the level of pretentious shallowness that it was. I mean, the temple, when I went to the temple, I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding.
What are your thoughts on the temple? What are like
Anyway,
what
let me tell you what I really think.
I want the cynic in this group to tell me what they think of the temple, and then I'll go do my quick hot take on it
Okay,
afterwards.
so
Go
the
on.
architecture was beautiful, like beautiful architecture because it was a sea creature, right? So it felt like the sea in the way that the way it was built, and like all those little entry and exit points, and how the wind came in and it was shaded, and that circular thing in the middle. The structure was beautiful. The
Mm.
problem were the humans inside the structure.
It's those goddamn humans that are always
Stupid humans
they're
inside the
they're mucking
structure
things up.
with all their like drama on display all over the wall. I mean, fine, put your little
No.
thing on the wall and say your little thing, but like this like this like how can I say it? If you go to a Buddhist temple, or you go to a
Mm,
temple in India, or you go to like a genuinely religious old spiritual place, it's
mm.
quite austere and quiet and not it's not like overt. It's quite down regulated.
Subtle.
Even when you go to these big fancy churches, it's very quiet and dark, and there are a few candles, but there's not personal like manifestations of grieving all over the place. Like, look at me, I'm having a spiritually grieving experience. It's not like that. It's a personal experience that you have when you're in this spiritual environment, right? I found it to be just like totally like, look at me. This is me and my stuff and my grief and my tears and drama all over the place. And my like, it was an exhibitionist grieving
Ooh.
center. And I found that really energetically ugly. I found it ugly because I don't think that public displays of grief are like make them any better than anything else. You know, if it, like for example, if the temple had like little spaces that you could put things in, that was your own personal little thing, and you could close like a little door, and that was your thing, and it was just you and the thing, cool. But this like gigantic over exaggerated expression of stuff, I found it, I felt like it diminished the sincerity of the thing. It felt like
Mm.
it didn't feel authentically sincere. It just felt like, and also, if you're grieving something, why would you slip into the desert and pay thousands of dollars just to burn something in the mud? I don't understand that part. I'm like, make a little like altar in your garden or at home on your balcony and burn things and say a prayer, and because then it's just between you and the thing, or you and the God, or you and the spirits. But like this public display of grief, I found really odd. But that's just me being the person that I am, and I am understated. I'm not like hugely expressionist about grief or those kinds of
Mm.
things. But that's other
Mm.
people maybe need that kind. Maybe they need to pay like $10,000 to go into Burning Man, some structure in the middle of the desert, and put like a piece of paper on the wall, and then they feel like they've thrown something into the wind. I don't know. So that was my. The architecture was beautiful. The building was beautiful. The humans inside were like pretentious assholes, and not all of them. I'm sure some of them were like authentic. The girl who had the lovely voice, who was walking around singing, I thought she was lovely and beautiful and amazing, and her voice is amazing. Until she came up to me and said, "Love," and I was like, "Don't touch me." So it was like,
I I remember that girl singing. I'm like, oh, I remember her walking around and singing when she passed me. I'm like, oh, that's a to me. I was like, oh, this is a nice addition and audio to the
No, it
experience and
was lovely. Her
everybody's.
voice was beautiful, but like stay in your lane, baby. You're in lane 5. Don't cross over into lane 7. Lane 7 doesn't want you swimming in her lane. She just wants to be here and grumpy. You just carry on
Yeah.
swimming on your own, you know?
Yeah. So okay.
Your
So the
spiritual
take.
experiences now.
Okay, my spiritual. Oh, let's do it. Like so. Your takeaway was like the temple is great. Remove the people, and it would have been perfect.
It should have been,
Have
no, but
a.
it wasn't a temple. It was just a structure like all the other arts on the playa, and it was beautiful. And it should have just been an architectural structure. And maybe they could have made it like a meditation zone or a quiet zone that people could just go and sit in quiet.
Mm,
Because that the building felt like it was built for that. It felt like the way the building was structured, it was so simple and so quiet and so like it was built like as part of the environment. To me, it
mm,
felt like it was a place to go and be quiet. Like the original intention of it felt more temple-like, but the humans filling it up with noise and stuff, I think diminished its temple-likeness.
mm.
That's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was. I never
It's the
thought about it
noise.
until now. It was like a beautiful, simple structure that someone had made, and then people just threw in paint and added furniture and brought in all their like fucking kitchen rubbish. It's like people brought their tchotchkes into this beautiful structure and they didn't need tchotchkes. It just needed an empty space for people to go to. That's what it felt
Mm,
like. It felt like the humans and their junk were diminishing its essential nature. That's exactly what it felt like. I loved the building, but there was too much inside the building. Maybe that was the point. I don't know. Maybe it was a container. Who knows?
mm. Oh, yeah. I had two takeaways from the temple. The first one, like, I do see it as like a spiritual place. Just from my point of view, any you want to make a temple, like if you're gonna build some kind of an area of worship or anywhere, in my book, you just say like, "Oh, this is this place," and you just make it. It's kind of like a human. It's like a decision. Like this is what this space is going to be. So I feel like any place. That's why I feel like any and every place is spiritual to some extent. If somebody find all it needs to be spiritual is a person that thinks that it's spiritual or it has some kind of a emotional significance to them. I think that's part of the human experience where you could just like, this is what this is for me. And there is something like that temple. There's something about coming together with grief because most people are dumb or they don't understand that they could just like say goodbye in their own way. Like you said, like put something in your backyard, do something, do a little, most people don't have like little altars or talk to the other side or anything like that in their day to day. So they're just, making $500,000 at Pfizer and they're like, oh my God, I'm gonna go to Burning Man and have fun and I'm gonna say goodbye and all that kind of stuff. But I do find like having that empty building and then in my book it's supposed to be filled up with that tchotchkes and junk if you're gonna if we and it creates some kind of like an emotional connection like, oh, I have this pain and then this person next to me also has that same kind of pain, maybe for something else, like like a loved one, not a dog or whatever. And there is something I feel that is important about that there is some kind of importance of people coming together as a society, like as a mini society, and be like, this is where if you feel sad or you feel pain, this is the place to go and release it. Whatever, and being able to do that for anybody and everybody, like everybody is welcome. Go trauma dump your shit, bring your trash out of your, whatever, pop it here and then light it on fire. Because the good thing about that is they're not going to bring those tchotchkes home. They just freed up some space in their house for more rocks. So that's a good thing. They just threw it all together. Uh, but I did on this trip, I did because we were traveling together. I did have a different takeaway or like a different. I saw a little bit of difference in the playa in the temple. The main thing I remember seeing at the temple was dudes walking around with wet wipes. Did you see any of these guys walking
I know
around in the
you mentioned the
temple?
guys with the wet wipes, but I didn't see any of them because I was just like, I was like in shock and horror at people being so retarded in that place and couldn't get out of there. And so I was just wandering around, like watching car crash after car crash after car crash, thinking, you gotta be fucking kidding. And then I walk around a corner, I'm like, oh, you've gotta be kidding. No. And then I was like, I gotta go. But I didn't see the guys with the wet wipes, no.
I noticed this. I saw a couple dudes walking around. They're not crying. They're not putting anything on the wall. They're not like reading what other people put on the walls and saying goodbye or anything. They just have a wet wipe container in one hand and they're walking from one crying girl to the other. Like there's one girl sitting on the floor crying, a wet white boy, a wet white boy comes by. It's like, "Oh, are you okay? Where are you staying?" Blah blah. Here's a wet wipe.
Was he
And then
Russian?
I don't. I couldn't tell. I didn't really listen to him. I was just like paying
What do you think
attention.
his what do you think his intention was, the wet
Oh, he
wipe?
was trying to fuck. He's trying to fuck. He's trying to get
Pick up
digits,
on
and
the
he's like,
trauma and get like, let me cuddle you
"Yeah,
while you
let me comfort you. Here's some wet wipes. Do you need this?" Like being of need for a girl in distress or somebody that's
Oh,
like
that's
a
predatory.
that's very predatory. That's like that's a person that's gonna rape you or attack. Like that's a very sneaky way. I feel like to get into a lady's pants. Like that's I don't feel you should be hitting on people at the temple. Frankly, that's
And
like
but I did
that.
read afterwards that like the amount of sexual abuse that happens there is really
Apparently
quite
a lot.
significant. Yeah. So, and that
No.
isn't cool. Like considering it's supposed to be the spiritual experience, the fact that there's so much of that to me is problematic.
Yeah, that's a red flag right there. There shouldn't be. That's way
If you
too
like what's
much.
spiritual and you're having spiritual experiences and you're burning things in the fucking temple, why would you be like abusing someone?
Some people are pieces of shit. I feel like some people go there. That place, Burning attracts a type of, at least a type of male individual that's a predator who will prey on a person's emotions. Like it's like large gatherings and like big cities, like they all. This is where you kind of like do whatever you want. Whatever if you're a sleazeball and you go to a place where you could do whatever you want or are told that you could do whatever you want, you're gonna kind of act like a sleazeball, even more so than in your regular existence. And there was a decent there was a decent amount of that I saw, at least at the time. Like it's just that one experience with the wet white people, and I saw them at the temple. I saw them at the burning at the man. I would just see dudes, and I'm like, just they have like a little pouch and then they always have like a big bag of wet wipes, not like a pouch of wet wipes, and they just go around like at a bar or whatever. They just bust out the wet wipes and offer it to girls. And I'm like, I didn't see that last year, but this year I was like, oh, it's kind of weird.
But the
That's a
thing is,
weird
they probably
behavior.
were there last year. I just
They
think
probably
that
were. I just didn't
um,
notice it. Yeah.
my cynical company just put it's like I put a different lens on things, I guess, to what you saw last year. You probably they probably were there, but the first time you went, it was like, oh, this is so cool and amazing. But yeah, I mean, I did worry while I was there that my cynical nature would have
Rubbed
impacted your
off.
spiritual experience.
Oh, for sure. It was because it was like every time you would say, "He's like, look at this pretentious twat." Every time you would say "twat," I'm like, "Oh, no." I had to like reevaluate the situation. I'm like, "Well, let
I'm
me view
sorry.
this situation from a twat perspective. Like, how would a
I think you
twat
have to
see
leave
this?"
me at home next time so you can go and have
No,
your
no,
big
no.
spiritual experience all by yourself.
No, I think that's great. I think that's good. It's like a good. I'm like, oh, people are just trying to be nice, and your point of view is like that guy's trying to get something, you know. And I think that's important to have those two little viewpoints.
Well,
I had a
I was the one
blast.
who told you that the CIA were like camping next to us, and you were like, "No, they're not. They were just like some guys
No,
in a
no,
gang."
I said they are sitting. No, no, I agreed
You
100%
came
CAA.
around to it afterwards, but I'm like,
No,
I'm
no,
gonna
no,
go
no,
get their
no,
Wi-Fi,
no,
and
no,
then no, 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 no. But then I told you the Chinese gangsters next to us are drug dealers, and you're like, really? I'm like, yeah. Look at all the people coming and
no.
going.
They're also spies. I feel like they're Chinese CCP spies.
I don't
There
know
were
if they were
two.
spies.
No.
Think? I think what is very interesting about this dynamic, you and me, the cynic and the believer, because I think it can be extrapolated across various different areas. But I told you, but I mentioned something about this book that I'm listening to, which is brilliant, but it's just about, and she's the social researcher, and she talks about and she's written it like in the current time of what's going on in America and what's going on in the world, and like how there are the polarities and views where things used to be a bit like left and right, and then there was like this homogenous middle in the world. Like the world's gone through polar and then become a bit homogenous, and polar and a bit homogenous. And what she was saying, which was really interesting for me, because I'm quite polar in some views, same as you're quite polar in some views, and you and I often come from different polar views. But what she was saying was so interesting, and she said, there's always there are these two views, and then there's another view, which is a
Mm,
combination of the two extreme views. And we were talking about it I think when we were in Lake Tahoe, what the Buddha talked about, the middle road, right? It's not
mm,
the let's sit in a cave and meditate, let's be a hedonistic person in the world. There's a middle road. It's just like this road of like equanimity. It's like this road of, it's not this and it's not that, it's something else. So it's not to say that you're right and I'm wrong, or I'm right and you're wrong. We both are right and we both are wrong, and there's something else in between. So I guess what clicked in my mind when I was listening to her is that it doesn't mean because I don't agree with you that I'm right. It just means that I don't agree with you, but also maybe what I'm saying is wrong too, and there probably is a third option. And she said, she was talking about how it's so difficult for people to acknowledge that maybe there is an alternative, because what did she say? She said you argue like either a priest, a politician, or a what was it? It was a priest, a politician, or a protester. And you have these views, either convincing somebody of something that's more spiritual, or you're like trying to navigate something to get your own way, or you're protesting something that you don't believe to be right in the world. And she's like, all of
mm,
those views are like quite singular and quite narrow. But somewhere else there's another view. Like you have a point of view and I have a point of view, but how do we find a way to let go of our own views and be open to the possibility of another thing that's neither yours or mine? And
mm.
I thought that as a concept was fascinating, because I never thought about it in that way. Do you know what I mean? Like I had a cynical experience, Burning Man, you had a spiritual experience, but in between there was another experience that we had, which this is what we're talking about now, is we both had something else. Like I was cynical and was like this fucking dirty, pretentious shit. And you were like, oh my God, it's so spiritual. Let's run around and be hippies. And then it wasn't those two things, but there was something else that we both experienced. It was like, this was weird and eclectic and interesting. And then some parts of it were quite memorable. Like that weird Polish guy in his Porsche. Remember the weird
Yeah,
Polish guy in the Porsche?
I
We
do. I
saw
forgot his
three
name.
times.
I thought I wrote down his Instagram and I didn't. I was looking through my notes and I can't find him. I have a picture of his calf with his wolf tattoo or the bear tattoo, but I don't have,
That's his company, but I don't know what it was called.
yeah, and I couldn't
I
find
don't
him.
even remember his name.
Yeah, yeah. It's see, like that's meeting people like that is there's something like spiritual, but like you run into the same person and there's like it's 70,000 people and you just random dude in waiting in line to get
But
in the playa. You
but
meet him,
he
have a
was a
great time.
good guy. Like
Yeah,
his energy was so like we
good
first
juju.
met him, he was so nice. And then the second time we saw him, he was so nice, sitting on the plow in his electric, whatever the fuck it was. And then the third
Yeah,
time we saw him when he was like romancing that girl. And
yeah.
he was just
It's
like
like he
so
saw his. It's like we
nice.
saw his story arc. Like he's just like, oh, I just made it, and then he's like, I'm exploring. Then like, I found a lady. I'm falling in love. Like we saw. I'm
Yeah.
like, whoa. And
Yeah,
that
that
was
was so cute. And he was like genuinely like that was a good time. He was a good time, but I can't remember what his fucking name was.
it's that was a spiritual experience.
No, well, for also me too. Like you are a spiritual experience for me. Like me meeting you and the absolutely impossible, incongruous, likelihood of me finding you in the world and fucking America and
Yeah.
your hobbies that make my
Call
eyes
them that,
bleed
hobbies.
on X, your hobbies, we'll call them hobbies. Um, so you are a spiritual experience for me. You are my spiritual experience. I mean, there's no other way to explain it.
Aw, same, same,
Oh,
same,
no other
same.
way. You're just like a
No other
spiritual
way.
experience, really.
That
Okay.
was yeah, okay. What else did we the Chinese, we didn't okay, we got our spiritual experiences down and we got the temple down. Um, the Chinese that we were parked to, that the large encampment that we just pulled up into the middle of their group and we're like, "We're here now." Why
Well, I
do you
think let's
think
break
they're
it down because
gangsters?
hold on, my OCD is like kicking in here. So let's break it
Okay.
down. There were experiences at Burning Man, which were people experiences. Then there were
Mhm.
food and beverage experiences. Then there were like environmental experiences. Then there were like navigational experiences. And then the porta potties are their own unique experience. Like,
Porta potties are great. I love them. I know
so
people
the
hate them
people
at the Burning
experience
Man,
like,
but I love
ugh, let's leave that to ugh, so the people experience was like the cute Polish guy, whatever the fuck his name was. Oh, but remember that also that other nice guy who was who the South African who brought me a
Oh, he
crunch
gave you a chocolate
and
bar
he sprayed us with water spray when we were waiting in the
in
line.
line
Yeah, yeah. And then so there was him, and then there was those fucking weird Chinese gangsters who didn't speak English, had Wi-Fi, and wouldn't share it with all their watermelons.
because they're spies. Because they're spies. They are spies. And they could be gangsters and spies at the same time. Like you
Who were
said, we
they
don't
spying on though?
no idea. Uh,
Don't you think it was weird that the Chinese gangsters were next to the CIA?
very. That's why I'm like it was weird that they were all kind of parked literally right next to each other. I think maybe the CIA or the NSA, whatever that weird bus was, I think maybe they were spying on the Chinese, and they're like, "Hey, these motherfuckers are bringing containers full of watermelon that aren't being taxed, and we gotta, they're spying on their watermelon in production."
I
Or
think it was something more insidious than that. They were probably smuggling drugs in those watermelons because no
for
one ate
sure,
the watermelons. And then the people came in the car and they took the four watermelons away, and then they gave us the
yeah.
one watermelon.
Hold on. They didn't. They gave us. I think you were like, "Hey, buddy, give me that watermelon." That's
No,
what I
no, no.
remember.
No, no, no. No, no, no.
You're like, no, no, no.
Old
He was
guy.
walking. He was
I
walking with a watermelon, and you were like, "Oh, is that for us?" And he was like, He was,
That's the nicest way to ask for things. Because I could have stolen it in the night.
We were gonna steal it in the night. We were gonna thieve it. We were gonna pirate a watermelon from them. One way or the other, we were gonna get
But
a watermelon.
they left like 12 watermelons outside in the baking hot
Yeah.
sun for like
And I
5
think,
days.
that made him bad because I remember that watermelon just giving me the runs. I had, it
That
was like, I need to go to
watermelon
the
probably had
bathroom.
like expired ketamine in it or something.
God, that was the worst ketamine I've ever had.
Horrible.
Watermelon
That
ketamine
watermelon was
sounds great, but
horrible.
yeah,
Ugh,
it did
they had
not. Yeah,
me
it
in
was
the
not a good
sun for
watermelon.
days. So
Yeah.
the people category were the crazy Polish guy, well, that very cute Polish guy who was like so naive it was weird. And then the squishy water guy, Chinese gangsters, CIA. Then there were your people with that music, making that food that we never ate because the music was terrible and they were 7 hours late on their
Oh,
schedule.
the ploff.
Mm.
Yeah. That was I didn't expect the line to be that big. Like, when we came back, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna yeah, that was a crazy I was let down. Like, oh, this is a lot of things the previous year that I thought were really great that I tried to recreate on this, Burning Man were, like, the complete, like, 180 opposite of a good time. Like,
And maybe that's the lesson to learn. It's every Burning Man
everything's
to be a
yeah, is
new
different.
Burning Man.
Yeah, everybody there you go. See? More spirituality. There you go.
So
Wow.
spiritual. So spiritual.
So spiritual.
What were the other
Um,
people situations? The Israelis with their drugs. And fur
Oh,
coat.
that one guy right outside. Oh, so for those, this was I just wanna do a quick segment on the Israeli, uh, getting into Burning Man. There were little rains started, and we were in line for basically 23 hours. So one of the nights we had a sleepover in line to get into Burning Man, and some people took it upon themselves to start a little party and like dance, throw 'em, might as well get dancing. And we had one of these group like this convergence of people strayed in line, started playing some tunes right outside our RV. And we had a lot of bad music. That was horrible. That was probably the worst music on the playa. I feel by the Israeli guy. And the funniest thing about that part is while they were dancing, the this Israeli guy just like whipped out a giant bag of probably cocaine. We think that's cocaine, like a giant, like
I
a
mean,
bag
I'm
of
not a drug expert, but it was like a bag full of
like a
white
Ziploc.
powder. I mean, I mean, there's lots of white powders though, but they stuck it in their nose. Do you put ketamine in your nose? I mean, I'm not
You
a
could,
ketamine.
yeah, you could sniff it. The couple of times that I've done ketamine, it was like a snort thing. It was like you use like that. So it could be ketamine, but they didn't seem like they were on ketamine because they would be playing much better music. I feel like if they were
Well,
like
he
if
was like in a white furry coat with underpants on, so I don't know.
a drug dealer, yeah, he was wearing the traditional drug dealer outfit at the playa, which is fuzzy coat and no pants. That's
But I
that's
mean,
how you know if somebody's holding.
I'm like a recovered Jew, right? So like I'm like anti-Jew, but I'm a recovering Jew. So they just fucking followed me around, those Israelis. Every 5 minutes there was an Israeli everywhere. Like
Yeah,
they were tormenting me.
were you surprised by the amount of Israelis there at
Yeah,
the playa?
no one else in the world wants Israelis, only America. America's like, come, brothers, come to our country. We love you while we fucking bomb the rest of the world. Come, brothers. Bring your drugs and your blue and white flags. Fuck.
I think
Now
that guy
people are
was
gonna murder me for this. Huh? They're gonna hunt
I
Mossad's
think that
gonna come and get me, I'm telling you.
they're gonna get us all eventually. But I
Mm.
was gonna say, I think that guy. There's a high chance that guy got arrested. Was one of the people that got arrested at the playa. Because there's one thing you don't do on federal land is just take out a bag of drugs and start sniffing it in front of
Were
everybody. That's
people
like a
arrested?
Oh yeah, so I was looking at stats. There was a record. I believe there was a record number of arrests this year. A lot of a lot of over
What?
the most amount of overdoses, I believe, or like what was it called? Getting like an ambulance called out. It was the most amount of
Oh,
that. A lot of people,
medivacs. Yeah.
medivacs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
there
think
was.
that I read that somewhere. There were a lot of medivacs.
Yeah, which is, and I do remember this last year where it was, I would hear this, like sirens all like, oh, there's another ambulance going. Oh, and the ambulance is going again. Oh, another one going. I'm like, wow, that's a lot. And I was like, maybe I didn't notice them the previous year, but this year I was like, oh, that was a lot of, that makes sense. There was a lot of medivacs out there, and a lot of drug overdoses apparently. So,
Look, it's
I
one of the stones from the magical whale beach.
let me see. Oh, is it? Oh, yeah.
The orangey one that you try to steal, and I said it's mine.
I was gonna put that in my butt and smuggle it out, yeah.
Oh no, you kept that the wooden thing for your butt.
I did. Oh my god, that wooden thing is the best dildo I've ever made. That's primo stuff.
I
For
don't
those
know if
that
this is
you
the
know
right, I thought this is the PG podcast. I don't know if we need to talk about the wooden
Oh, yeah, we do. How this is Brady Man. We're gonna talk about
equipment.
drugs and
Oh
spies
yeah,
and all
so
that
let's
kind of
talk about
stuff.
your hobby, shall we? Okay.
We don't have to do it now. It wasn't on the list.
No,
We had
no,
Chinese
you can add it
gangsters,
to the list. I
excursions.
have become entirely open-minded since I encountered you as my spiritual experience. All things that I did not know before, I have now known.
So much, so much,
So
so much.
much. I mean, it's been a year and a half when I was first time I like, looked at your ex account, and I told you yesterday my eyes were bleeding a bit.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think that's
Well, I mean, you
like
also
something
introduced
to
me to
reflect on.
hentai, so that was a whole other fucking story. So I'm like, what? 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 So like you're like a great educational experience for me. I'm learning all these things I didn't even know existed in the world.
Oh, I'm so glad I could do that. Oh, hell
Yeah.
yeah, that made me feel so
So
good. Thanks, babe.
virginal and so virginal in my mind and body everywhere. Yeah,
everywhere.
fascinating.
Well, hold on with the Chinese gangsters, what was what was your favorite part about the Chinese gangsters? Or did
The
you just
Chinese
like I
gangsters or in
yeah,
general? Oh, I love the I was watching because you were driving around the playa in the middle of the boiling hot day to get heat stroke chasing bear,
that
and
was
I
so
was
much fun.
sitting. I know, but I was like sitting on our terrazzo with our fancy CIA mat and our covering top. Once we get the CIA mat, life was like primo
That
experience.
that
With
was like a 180, yeah.
Flo finally came into good use on the floor of the terrazzo. You need to tell everyone about Flo. We can talk about Flo later. Flo.
Yeah.
There are two things that have come between us.
Flows
Flo,
one of them.
Solana, the word with P that we don't like to talk about on the internet. So we ignore the P word, but Flo and Solana really are. They're between us. It's okay. I don't mind. Anyway, once Flo was in the mix and we had the top and we had our new carpet, life was great on the terrazzo with apples and peanut butter. And because there was no internet and there was no TV, the Chinese were my entertainment. Because there was all
Mm,
sorts of weird shit going on there all the time. Those outfit changes, the chef in the kitchen, noodles in, noodles out, that weird white couch they put outside that they would like lie on. The like it was like a gathering of RVs all in a
expats,
circle, but
yeah.
we were like kind of in their way. So we were like in the camp, out the camp, and all these plastic water bottles and those fancy motorbikes they wheeled out of that black truck. Out of the black truck came those fancy motorbikes, e-bikes, and the watermelons. I'm like,
Mm.
all you bought were fancy e-bikes and watermelons. That's what came out that truck. So weird.
Yeah, I think the Chinese people were I was actually also surprised by the sheer amount of outfits everybody had. And it wasn't
So
just like a
many.
wardrobe
Maybe
change. They
it was
had
a
like
wardrobe. Yeah,
like
maybe it was
sparkles,
COVID.
like different it's not like, "Oh, I have this hat that I would wear in a regular experience, like outside, I
Yeah.
would just go somewhere in this hat." They were just like, "Oh, I got a hat for Burning Man." And they had a hat for like every day and then like an outfit for every night. I remember them going out on their e-bikes and I'm like they're dressed like they're going to go to a rave and drop acid and roll mall. Like it was but I'm like they're Chinese. I'm like I don't, it was I didn't expect that from CCP nationals, you know. I was like
And
I,
they
didn't,
didn't
I
even
thought they were
speak
very
English much. Like
zero
literally,
English.
they didn't even speak
Zero
English
English.
much, which was fascinating. That's why I think he handed over the watermelon because I said, "Is this for me?" And he probably thought, "Fuck, I'll give her the watermelon because I can't speak to her." So he just handed
Yeah.
in the watermelon and ran.
That was so much fun to watch where you just like, hey, look, I got a watermelon. And I'm
Well,
just
I
sitting
mean,
there
I
on the chair,
caused
like, what's
trouble with our
happening
whole
right now?
camp area because I demanded the watermelon from the one guy. I asked the CIA to give me Wi-Fi and they fucked off. And then remember, I told
Yeah.
the other Chinese gang to turn the music down in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
probably very unpopular. They were probably going to send someone to like a hitman to take me out as well, but then we left early and they couldn't find.
No, I
Oh
think you could
no,
take them.
they all cleared out. Remember, they cleared
Yeah.
out before we even left.
They were starting to clear out before we left. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Most of them were like packed up and ready to go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
weird.
yeah.
Maybe all
Well,
the ones who were fleeing knew about that guy in the tent that was murdered. What day did the CIA clear out? We had that carpet for a good few
they were
days.
there for 3 days. They cleared out like somewhere right in the middle, and then we're like,
Okay.
"Oh, free rug," and it was great. But once the terrazzo was up and there was shade that, and we could just sit
That was the best
outdoors in some
terrazzo.
shade. That was great. Yeah, that
Yes,
was a great. We just need
that
some
was a good
more
time.
towels and blankets and like seating things and some misters and some a little bit more shade to like really make it like shady, a couple more tarps, and then it'll be a
So
good
I think our
experience.
next like session, our next podcast session needs to be about like things to know, like important things to
Things
know
to do.
when
Oh
going
yeah.
to Burning Man, like food wise, top wise, terrazzos, snacking, wet wipes, like things that you need to know. Not like this lame ass packing list. Take sunscreen and a hat and make sure
Yeah.
you hydrate with electrolytes. Like not random, like really important things. Really like there are important things that you need to know about that experience. Don't pay $250 for water. someone made a lot of money.
Oh yeah,
Imagine
there's they're gonna
85,000 people with camper vans. Let's say 50,000 people had, let's even say 40,000 people had camper vans times $250. 40,000 times $250, say at least twice. So $500. So 40,000. Hold on, I'm going to do some calculations here.
do the math, real life math.
Real life math. So let's say half 40,000 and they had water twice in the time. So let's say $500. Those fuckers made
Millions.
$20 million.
Yeah.
Is
It was a
that
good day for
possible?
United Rental.
Yeah,
I don't
20.
know if I don't know if there's that many. I would say there's probably less of those, less than 40,000 RVs or things that need to get pumped. I would say it's
Well,
probably more like
people, everyone had fancy RVs, and no one had those water trucks were busier than they were busier than
nonstop.
they
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
non-stop filling up people's water.
Yeah.
They were driving up and down. So even if it's 20,000 people, that's still $10 million of water.
So my question then is, if for what would be the advice if you do have a camper van and you don't want to spend $500 on getting water and poop pumped out? What do you think the strategy should be for an RV experience dealing with like water?
You
Should you
have to buy
even
water. It's too many days. It's too many days, right? Because we didn't use a lot of water. Like we were like quite austere with our water and we used the porta potties most of the time. But it was good to have like a rinse every night after the playa. So that was worth, to me, that was worth the $250.
Mm, okay.
I
So if
don't
you're
think you can get
getting
around it. I don't think the tanks hold enough water for 7 days without refilling.
Oh yeah, my opinion is that you have to go wet wipes. Once the water runs out, then it's wet wipe showers. It's just get to wet wipes and
There's
just
the
get
person who
showering.
slept in a truck the time before. You can sleep in a truck and use wet
Yeah,
wipes to wipe
yeah,
parts of your body that are important.
yeah,
I
yeah. It's not
will
for
not
everybody.
sleep in a truck. I will sleep in an RV and I will pay $250
fifty
to the
dollars.
water so I can have a rinse at night. Some things are
Yeah,
worth it. Like
some things are
we
worth it.
all have our we all have our thing. Like the only luxury event we had was that little like shower vibe. And to me that was like 100,000 times worth it. $250.
Like coming back.
The
Yeah.
most expensive shower ever.
No.
But I suppose I don't know. I don't know how you get around that. I don't know how those big camps do it, but I would imagine that even those big camps that have those water containers, I doubt they schlep in the water. They probably have a water container and then they get those water people to fill it up.
I would think they would. I think like when we're like going out there and making like our mini camp, the strategy would be have a kiddie pool on the ground and bring in like those are like 500-gallon tubs of tankers of water, like those little square jugs, and bring in one of those, and then you don't have to pay for water. You have to have space to dump your dirty gray water, but you could have a 500-gallon vat for dirty water and a 500 gallon of clean water. And as far as like showers and gray water, you could just do that outside on your own. Pump the dirty water from the kiddie pool into the gray water container, or just let it evaporate in the sun, and that way you don't have to refill. But you would still need to bring like 500 gallons of your own water for the week. That's what I
And
saw a lot of people in their camp.
$250 with some other guy in a truck coming by giving you water and taking your gray water feels like a great time.
Yeah, it does. It's like,
You got me at like the thing and the gallon, the kitty thing and the gray and the thing and the other thing and the pumping the thing into the other thing. And I'm like,
what?
I'm just gonna call the guy. I'm just gonna call the guy.
I think like I'd want to do
That
that maybe.
was hilarious that you rode around for 3 hours tracking down a water truck. And I
Oh
stayed on
my
the
god.
terrazzo and then I was like, oh, hi, have some water. And they were like, okay, sure.
Yeah, yeah. It was that thing. It was the same lesson from last year. You don't have to go chasing the thing that you want. Let it come to you kind of thing. And I was like, my man brain was like, I have a mission. I have to get water let's go
Yeah, but
find
you're also
water.
chasing beer and it was fun. You know, it was part of that fun time. You were chasing water, having a beer, chasing water, having a beer. And I was just like chilling in the tracha watching Chinese TV. And then, the water truck came by.
Yeah, that was the chasing beer didn't even go that well either. The chasing the water and the beer, none of those went well. All the places that I went to for the beer stuff, everybody was either out or I didn't go to like I only went to one side of the playa for looking for like bars and stuff. So I didn't hit every place that was supposed to have like cool craft beer, but every place that I did hit I was disappointed. Even that main one on Sixth Street, that big one that I really like, that's my by far my favorite, I think, camp on the playa. Even that one was very like their selection wasn't didn't go through as much as it did the year before. Like they had kind of the same ones for like multiple days, whereas last time they would just like rotate through all the beers like super super quickly. But still, it was a lot of fun. That beer that I think like that day where you hung out watching like you said Chinese TV, and that I went down to that little to the pub on Sixth Street. That was I met like island people, and I met a lot of island people. Surprisingly, a lot of people own islands go to Burning Man. Did you know that? I'm
Yeah,
like,
rich white people. Remember the beginning? The rich white people that went to Burning Man. They probably flew
yeah,
a private jet.
yeah. I was talking, and the multiple island people, and if you don't know what an island person is, it's a person that owns an island. They were trying to be all like non extravagant, but it's like, oh, it's not like what you think. One of them was like, it's not how you think. Like they were like, I have neighbors on my island. I'm like, okay, there's three mansions instead of one on your island. Like that doesn't really. You still own an island, you know? It's like, how do you get to your island? Oh, you have an airport. You're fine. You're fine. Like I met the head of Amazon distribution at that little bar, and he was like, oh yeah, we're not that bad. I'm like, you make like 10 million a year or some shit and you live on an island, bro. Like you're like like don't pretend you're not like filthy rich. Don't play it down, you know? It's like it's
There
that
are no
I
poor people at Burning Man. The only poor
there's
people at Burning Man are the people who are in the trucks pumping out other people's
delivering water.
grey water. They're the poor people.
It's the lady that brought us water, and then
She
you were
was
like, this is
so
a date.
nice. She was so nice. She never had a date
Yeah.
before in her whole life. And she was probably thinking like fucking bunch of white wankers in the desert, like fucking paying $250 for water. Ha ha ha, what morons. I'm sure she was.
Yeah, I've never ran into somebody who hasn't like eaten a date or like knows what a date is. So that was
Poor
also
people.
poor people. That's true, I guess. Yeah,
Yeah, poor
that's.
people don't have access to fancy food like dates. Dates are fancy food, it's like bread and beans, I guess.
But I feel like you get dates at like Costco and like every grocery store, pretty much. At
Yeah,
least
but
in
you
LA.
don't go
So I
to the
guess.
date this like they're like a dates are like a luxury item when you're just buying bread and meat and
Yeah.
butter or whatever. It's not like, oh my God, a date. Like, why would I even buy that? It's like a luxury item. It's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs: food, shelter, safety, dates.
Dates are after. Dates are a good
Dates and
snack for the
chocolate.
playa. Yeah, dates. Ooh, dates and chocolate. Yeah, dates,
We didn't eat
chocolates,
that
and
many
coffee.
dates. It was just meat sticks
No, it's a lot
and
of yeah.
a
For
lot
me,
of
it was a lot
peanut
of meat
butter.
sticks. I
Mm.
feel like I hardly touched the figs or the tomatoes, the freeze dried stuff. I'm still working on them right now. Finished all the tomatoes, but I'm still working on the figs.
The
Um,
tomatoes were the best in that oily stuff for the barbecues with
Oh,
burgers.
yes, with, like, yeah, that was delicious. Oh, that was
Burgers
good.
and beer. Can't wait for some
Burgers
more
and beer.
Whole Foods beer. We could do a whole podcast on Whole Foods. We're gonna do a whole podcast. Whole
Do a
Foods
whole
is a
series.
spiritual experience.
Whole Foods
For a person who doesn't live in America, I don't live in America. Whole
mm.
Foods is a spiritual experience. Like I would get like excited to go to Whole Foods. I'd
I
be
saw, I
oh,
saw. You're like,
guacamole.
"Oh, we ran out of"
Oh,
ch"
beer, like a
It's
whole
like
thing.
we ran out of guac. We should go get more. I like how we were going to Whole Foods. We're like, we just need chips and guac, and then we come out like with $300 worth of food, and we're like, how the fuck did that happen?
Well, because you're the same as me. You're like, oh my God, salsa's on sale, 2 for 1. Oh my God, guac is on sale. Let's buy 4 because it's on sale. And then I'm gonna be we need
Fifty
some chips.
percent
And
off
then
for
yeah, I mean, it's like psychological warfare in Whole Foods.
they know how to get you.
They
They're
say
like Costco.
sale,
They know how to get you.
50%, 2 for 1, even though like the one and the one together is more expensive than anything you'd buy at Costco, even on the sale.
Yeah.
Anyway, we
Even on the
deviated from
sale.
Burning Man. I think that's our Burning Man moment for today. But
No.
I think we need another conversation around snacks for Burning Man or essentials for Burning Man, like
Essentials, and
essentials. Yeah,
we
and we
should
didn't
do
talk
that
about
on the
the
next one.
bikes.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about the bikes. We didn't talk about the outfits. We didn't talk about.
I'm
Uh,
taking notes.
yeah, there needs to be like outfits for Burning Man, food strategy, essentials. You know. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, I will point out. I like how when you're thinking and your eyeball, how your eyeballs move when you're thinking. You're like you're actively categorizing things in your brain.
Oh no, I was. I was like when you done that and then that, my brain like
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
you know.
It's I could see it like in real time. It's fun to watch. Yeah, yeah. So, so this was a great episode. I like it. This was solid.
Great. I
For
will
those listeners.
send you the recordings. Yeah, with our followers of one.
Oh,
No,
to our followers, thank you for tuning in to our first episode of the Cynic and the Believer. I hope you enjoyed some grounded reality checks into the Burning Man playa with us, and tune in for another episode soon. We'll be discussing, like we said, Burning Man and then Whole Foods experiences, and the spiritual connection to your heart while you're in Whole Foods.
I mean Whole Foods can tie into like our next podcast, which is about like the essential snacks for Burning Man, because Whole Foods
Yes,
did support us with that.
yes, Whole
So they
Foods
were
did
like,
support
Whole
us.
Foods just give us joy at Burning Man. There was the
Yeah.
we joy at Burning Man with beer. So
I feel that the beers, the good quality beers with the guac and the chips was
life
and the
changing.
sauce, and yeah, the sausages, yeah, all of it, all like having a
Life changing.
little terrazzo and having a picnic in the middle of a fucking desert is one of the best things. Which
Thank
is
you,
also
CIE, for the mat. Thank you for the mat.
thank you
The mat
CIA for the
is
mat.
listening to us. Where's the mat? There's a mat in the
The mat is
garage.
in storage.
Dusty.
No, 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 yeah,
Okay,
it's in
great.
storage. Yeah, yeah, I cleaned it up.
It's
I cleaned.
it's the mat's listening. The mat is
Oh
listening.
yeah.
It's
Oh,
like,
of course.
let the Ukrainian take the mat into
Yeah.
their enclave. We'll listen
Oh
to what
yeah.
you're talking about.
It's the easiest way to spy on us for 100%. But, it's still a solid mat. Still a solid
Love
mat.
the mat. It's the best.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. All right, guys. That's been the Cynic of the Believer. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.